should probably start this entry by Dear Diary, but a little bit revised. So this is me as a Christian girl, and my experiences and my thoughts on my Christianity as of right now, documented in this video. Typically, I was born in a Christian household. My dad and my mom were always Christian, and my dad works at our church, so I was basically like born in the church. As a kid, I would always go to Sunday school like every other kid until a certain age. Then we moved to teenagers, which is where I am currently. And then we just are being taught about the Bible and how to have fellowship with God and all that. So I always had that connection, right, of God, and knowing him personally was something that primarily was kind of hard, because like it's everyone around me was a Christian, so I was kind of born into it, so kind of like just introduced to it, like forced into it. But obviously afterwards, I guess after growing up a little bit, like you start questioning, am I really into this? Am I really having the relationship I want to have with the God that I'm supposed to be praying to? And this kind of doesn't make sense, because it's like everyone around you is Christian, so you know it's natural, it's supposed to come naturally, but like it actually doesn't, because as long as a person I didn't realize that I have to separate myself from like the people around me, like I separate myself from like their faith, like make mine, that would like be a barrier to like me knowing God and like being closer to God. So at some point I actually joined the choir and like started like singing and stuff, because like I actually liked it, and it was like a nice way of like worshiping God and like showing him that I'm there, but at some point it didn't work out that well for me, and henceforth I just left it. And but like I still continued singing for God, because it was something that I genuinely enjoyed, and it's something that I didn't feel forced or pressured to do. But then actually afterwards, I've started feeling like a lot of things church related were like you're forced to do it, like you have to like do it like to show that you're a real Christian and all that. And I've always thought that like you shouldn't be forced to do something, like especially if it's like in a religion, like you shouldn't be pressured into doing certain services to show that you are a real Christian. Like it doesn't matter. But then of course I had to keep that to myself, because there are some things that you just can't voice out in fear of like other people feeling like you're going against your religion, which is not what I was trying to do. I guess to me the biggest issue was always, how do I firmly show that I am a Christian? Like how do I embody that, and how do I like externalize that? And like I think most people who have gone to church, you always see these people who are praying and they collapse, or they faint, or they just like they have reactions, like when they're crying, or they have like these unnatural reactions. But then I always realize that every time I pray, I'm not like that, and I'm not like it's not to say that I found it exaggerating, it's like to say my prayer situation was never the same as other people's, and most of the times if I was praying, it would look like I am not really, if that makes sense. So like people will always be like, oh, is she praying? Or even me myself, I'll feel like maybe something is wrong with me, because I'm not doing all these things like to out, like it's like an output of like what you're praying. And honestly, I just realized that it's not about how you react or how your prayer looks like to the other people, as long as your prayer reaches the person it's supposed to reach, and your and just like your relationship doesn't have to look the same as other people's. It's like it's as if all the couples that are together, like they want to like be the same as others, you know, like you all have a different relationship with your partner. And in this situation, I have a different relationship with God that maybe other people don't get. But one thing for sure I learned is that I shouldn't feel pressured to overdo my Christian life, or like overly like control myself in what I do. Going forth with actions and stuff, I would also say this thing where when someone presents themselves as a Christian, everyone has a stereotype or like an image in their head. They're like, oh, this person has to be like completely covered, or like a maximum covered in terms of clothing, or this person has to not be doing certain TikTok challenges or certain dances, or like listen to certain music and stuff like that. But I heard like this pastor who was preaching, and like he was talking about how people overly and churches overly emphasize on the exterior things that a person does, or the exterior appearance of a person in terms of, you know, Christianity. But like people tend to forget about like your personal time with God. Like do we actually know what this person does on a one-on-one time with God? Do we know that? We don't. We're just judging based on what we're seeing externally, which doesn't make sense. Like I also like struggled a lot with this, because at church they tend to overly tell us like, no, don't listen to like you know, secular music. Like, yeah, certain of them are definitely devilish and you shouldn't listen to them, and you know, songs that are vulgar, definitely we shouldn't listen to them. But then there are others that just talk about love, kindness, or a person's struggle and journey to healing and other things, which are like basic human experiences that I think we can even learn from. So it's always like has struck me, like, why is it such a big deal for what you're wearing? You know, like it's not that big of a deal as long as like you're not like vulgar or disrespecting yourself. As long as your relationship with God, again, like my relationship with God is known to him and to me, so other people shouldn't really judge based on what they see on the outside. I guess what I can try to end with is that everybody has their own relationship and their own level at which they are with God, and we shouldn't be pressuring ourselves to like get to the level of other people. Just go at your own pace, and God sees your efforts. That's what matters, and that's what has been helping me in my own personal relationship and growth with God. And I honestly hope that other people can realize that it's not a competition, it's not a race, it's about personal growth with God, and just you and God. It's not that deep, it's not about other people.
From the rising of the sun to the setting of the same, your name is to be hallowed, Adonai. From the rising of the sun to the setting of the same, Your name is to be hallowed.